Before you move forward, before you scroll, before your mind drifts to the next distraction, pause. Take a slow breath. There are moments in life that seem ordinary on the surface yet carry a quiet significance beneath them, and this is one of those moments. You were not randomly guided here. You did not open this by accident. Something within you felt a subtle pull, a whisper that said, "Stop for a second." That whisper matters. In a world that constantly rushes you, constantly demands your attention, constantly pushes you toward noise, choosing to pause is powerful. The angel's message is not loud, not dramatic, not urgent in a fearful way. It is steady, calm, and intentional. It asks you to slow down because clarity can only be heard in stillness. There has been so much happening around you lately. Expectations, responsibilities, unanswered questions, silent worries you rarely speak about. You carry more than most people realize. You smile when needed. You show up when required. You keep moving even when you feel tired inside. But in the quiet spaces of your heart, there are thoughts you haven't fully processed. There are dreams you placed on hold. There are emotions you pushed aside because life felt too busy to sit with them. This message is inviting you to sit with them now, not in fear, not in regret, but in awareness. Awareness is the beginning of transformation. When you truly listen, you begin to understand what your heart has been trying to tell you all along. The angel says pause because something within you is shifting. You may not see it yet in your circumstances, but internally, you are changing. You are becoming more aware of what drains you and what strengthens you. You are recognizing patterns that once went unnoticed. You are beginning to understand that not every opportunity is meant for you and not every voice deserves your attention. This discernment is growth. Growth often begins quietly. It does not always arrive with dramatic announcements. Sometimes it begins with a simple realization that you deserve peace, that you deserve clarity, that you deserve to move forward without constantly doubting yourself. There is also something important about your pace. You have been moving quickly, trying to keep up, trying not to fall behind. But growth is not a race. Your journey is not meant to mirror anyone else's timeline. The angel's message is reminding you that slowing down does not mean you are failing. It means you are aligning. When you pause, you give yourself space to think clearly. When you think clearly, you choose wisely. When you choose wisely, your future becomes stronger. The right decisions rarely come from chaos. They come from stillness. Listen closely to your intuition. That quiet inner voice has been guiding you more accurately than you realize. There were moments you ignored it and later understood why it was speaking. There were times you followed it and felt relief afterward. That voice is strengthening now. It becomes clearer when you remove distractions. It becomes louder when you stop rushing. The angel is not asking you to panic. The angel is asking you to pay attention. Something meaningful is unfolding within you, and if you continue to rush, you may miss the beauty of your own transformation. You may also be entering a period where certain truths become clearer. Not dramatic revelations, not shocking discoveries, but gentle realizations about what truly matters. You are reassessing your priorities. You are questioning habits that no longer serve you. You are redefining what success means to you personally. This clarity is important. It ensures that the path you walk next is aligned with your authentic self rather than expectations placed upon you by others. Alignment creates peace. Peace creates confidence. Confidence creates steady progress. Pause and truly listen means listen without judgment. Do not criticize yourself for past mistakes. Do not shame yourself for delays. Everything you experienced taught you something. Everything you endured shaped your strength. Instead of replaying regret, extract wisdom. Instead of dwelling on what did not work, recognize what it prepared you for. You are not behind. You are in process. Process is necessary for depth. Depth builds resilience. Resilience ensures longevity. As you breathe in this moment, allow yourself to feel grounded. Feel your heartbeat. Feel your presence. You are here. You are aware. You are capable of making thoughtful choices moving forward. The angel's message is simple but powerful. Slow down enough to hear what your life is trying to teach you. There is guidance in your experiences. There is clarity in your reflections. There is direction forming quietly within your thoughts. Do not rush away from this feeling. Stay with it for a moment longer. Let the stillness settle. Let the clarity grow. Something inside you is preparing for the next chapter, and preparation begins with awareness. You opened this message at the right time because you were ready to listen. And when you truly listen, you begin to understand that you are stronger, wiser, and more aligned than you realized. There is a deeper reason the message begins with pause, because pausing is not weakness, it is awareness choosing to wake up. When you slow down intentionally, you begin to notice patterns you once ignored. You begin to see how certain situations repeat themselves, how certain emotions return in cycles, how certain people trigger the same reactions within you. This awareness is not meant to discourage you, it is meant to empower you. The angel is guiding you into observation without judgment. When you observe your life clearly, you reclaim control. You stop reacting automatically and start responding consciously. That shift alone can transform the direction of your future. Most people move through life on autopilot, repeating habits without reflection. You are being invited to break that cycle, to step outside the noise and see your path with fresh eyes. Think about how often you silence your own needs to meet expectations. Think about how often you say yes when your heart quietly says no. Think about how often you rush decisions because you fear missing out. The angel's message is not about external urgency, it is about internal clarity. When you pause, you give yourself permission to evaluate. You ask yourself questions you once avoided. Does this align with who I am becoming? Does this support my peace? Does this strengthen my long-term growth? These questions are powerful because they force alignment. Alignment is what creates sustainable progress. Without alignment, even success feels heavy. With alignment, even challenges feel purposeful. There is also something happening in your emotional world. You are becoming more sensitive to what feels right and what feels forced. Situations that once felt normal may now feel draining. Conversations that once felt harmless may now feel exhausting. This does not mean you are becoming distant, it means you are becoming aware. Awareness sharpens discernment. Discernment protects your energy. Energy determines your productivity. Productivity. Begin to see these patterns without judgment. You see how they formed. You see why they protected you at certain times. You also see how they now limit you. Awareness gives you choice. Choice gives you power. Power gives you responsibility. And responsibility is not heavy when it is aligned with who you are becoming. You are entering a stage where your inner voice is becoming stronger than external noise. Before, you may have looked outside yourself for confirmation, approval, or reassurance. Now you are beginning to trust your internal compass. That compass has always been there, but it was drowned out by distraction. As you practice stillness, your intuition becomes clearer. You will notice it guiding you away from unnecessary conflict. You will notice it nudging you toward opportunities that feel aligned. You will notice it warning you gently when something feels forced. This inner guidance is not random. It is cultivated through reflection. There is also an important emotional shift happening. You are learning to sit with your feelings instead of running from them. When something hurts, you no longer suppress it immediately. When something excites you, you allow yourself to feel it fully. Emotional awareness creates emotional maturity. Emotional maturity creates stability. Stability allows you to move forward without being constantly shaken by every small setback. You are becoming steadier. And steady growth is more powerful than sudden bursts of motivation. As you listen more deeply, you may begin to feel a desire for simplicity. Simplicity in your schedule. Simplicity in your relationships. Simplicity in your goals. Complexity often creates stress that is unnecessary. You are realizing that clarity comes from removing what does not serve you. You do not need to do everything. You do not need to please everyone. You do not need to chase every opportunity. Focus is stronger than excess. When you focus on what truly matters, your energy becomes concentrated. Concentrated energy produces meaningful results. There is something else important about this pause. It reveals your resilience. When you look back at everything you have endured, you see strength that you once overlooked. You handled situations that once felt impossible. You made decisions under pressure. You kept moving when quitting would have been easier. That resilience is part of your identity now. It is not temporary. It is built into you. Listening allows you to acknowledge that strength instead of minimizing it. The angel's message is not about stopping your life. It is about refining it. Refinement requires honesty. Honest evaluation of your habits. Honest recognition of your limits. Honest commitment to your growth. When you listen carefully, you realize that your future does not depend on dramatic change. It depends on consistent, thoughtful adjustments. Small corrections repeated daily create massive transformation over time. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not lost. You are evolving. Evolution often feels quiet while it is happening. It does not announce itself loudly. It unfolds gradually as you make better choices, set healthier boundaries, and align more closely with your values. The more you pause, the more intentional you become. The more intentional you become, the more powerful your actions become. Stay with this stillness a little longer. Let your breathing slow. Let your thoughts settle. Notice what surfaces naturally. Notice what feels aligned. Notice what feels heavy. Those observations are guidance. You do not need to rush to act immediately. Understanding comes before action. And understanding requires listening. You opened this message because something within you was ready for awareness. That readiness is not accidental. It is a sign of growth. Continue honoring that growth. Continue protecting your clarity. Continue choosing intentional living over automatic reaction. The shift you feel is real. It is steady. It is preparing you for a version of yourself that moves with confidence, calmness, and clear direction. As you continue walking through this message, something deeper is unfolding within you, something that cannot be rushed and cannot be forced, because true transformation is not loud, it is layered, and every layer reveals another truth about who you are becoming. You may not notice it immediately, but the way you are thinking right now is already different from how you used to think. There is more awareness, more reflection, and a stronger desire to understand instead of react. That shift alone changes the direction of your entire life because awareness is the beginning of intentional living. When you pause and truly listen, you begin to realize that your journey has never been random, even the delays, even the disappointments, even the unanswered questions were shaping you into someone wiser, stronger, and more prepared than you realized at the time. There have been seasons where you felt overlooked, misunderstood, or underestimated, and during those moments you questioned your value, your timing, and sometimes even your purpose, but what you could not see then is that growth was happening beneath the surface. Just like roots grow quietly underground before a tree rises tall, your resilience was forming in silence. Every challenge strengthened your patience. Every setback refined your discernment. Every difficult conversation taught you boundaries. And now, as you sit in this pause, you can begin to connect the dots. The experiences that once felt like obstacles were actually preparation. Preparation for clarity. Preparation for stability. Preparation for the next chapter that requires a stronger version of you. Listening carefully now will reveal patterns you are ready to break. Perhaps you have been saying yes when your heart wanted to say no. Perhaps you have been shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. Perhaps you have been doubting your intuition even when it proved itself correct again and again. These patterns are not signs of weakness, they are signs of old survival strategies. You learned them to protect yourself. But growth requires updating those strategies. The angel's message is not about fear or urgency, it is about awareness and alignment. Alignment with your truth, alignment with your values, alignment with the life you genuinely want instead of the life you feel pressured to maintain. There is a new level of maturity rising within you, and it is showing up in subtle ways. You are less reactive. You are more observant. You think before you respond. You analyze your emotions instead of being controlled by them. This is emotional intelligence developing in real time. And emotional intelligence changes everything. It improves your relationships, strengthens your decisions, and protects your peace. When you truly listen, you will notice that your peace is becoming more valuable than proving a point, more valuable than winning an argument, and more valuable than seeking validation. Peace is not passive, it is powerful. It allows you to move strategically instead of impulsively. You are also being invited to examine your goals with fresh eyes. Are they truly yours, or are they borrowed from expectations around you? Are you chasing something because it aligns with your purpose, or because it earns approval? Listening deeply requires honesty. Honesty can feel uncomfortable at first because it removes illusions. But illusions only delay fulfillment. When you admit what you genuinely desire, you gain clarity. And clarity eliminates wasted energy. Imagine channeling all your effort toward what truly matters instead of scattering it across distractions. That is the shift taking place now. There is a quiet rebuilding happening inside your mindset. Where you once saw limitations, you are beginning to see possibilities. Where you once focused on what went wrong, you are learning to focus on what can be improved. This is not blind optimism, it is constructive thinking. Constructive thinking allows you to solve problems without losing hope. It keeps you grounded yet forward-moving. As you continue listening, you will notice that fear is losing its grip on you. Not because fear disappears, but because your confidence is growing stronger than your doubts. Your past does not define your future, but it informs your wisdom. Every mistake taught you discernment. Every regret sharpened your awareness. Instead of carrying guilt, you are learning to carry lessons. That difference changes your energy. When you carry lessons, you walk lighter. When you walk lighter, you move faster. And when you move faster with clarity, opportunities align more naturally. This is not coincidence, it is the result of inner alignment. There may also be relationships in your life that are shifting. Some connections are deepening because you are communicating more authentically. Others may be fading because you no longer resonate at the same level. Growth sometimes changes dynamics. This is not betrayal, it is evolution. You are not required to remain in spaces that restrict your growth. Listening carefully helps you recognize where you feel energized and where you feel drained. Energy is a guide. Pay attention to it. The most powerful realization in this pause is that you are not waiting for change, you are becoming it. You do not need dramatic signs or external confirmation to begin acting differently. Small internal decisions create external impact. Choosing patience over panic. Choosing reflection over reaction. Choosing courage over comfort. These decisions seem small in isolation, but repeated consistently, they redefine your identity. You are stepping into a phase of intentional living. Intentional living means you act with awareness. You speak with purpose. You rest without guilt. You plan without anxiety. You trust without desperation. That kind of balance does not happen overnight. It is cultivated through moments exactly like this one, where you slow down long enough to listen. And the more you practice this, the clearer your path becomes. Remember, nothing about your journey has been wasted. The confusion, the waiting, the rebuilding, the quiet preparation, all of it has contributed to who you are today. You are more capable than you were a year ago. More self-aware. More grounded. More intentional. This is growth. And growth does not always feel dramatic while it is happening, but its impact becomes undeniable over time. Stay present. Stay aware. Stay connected to your inner voice. The clarity you are seeking is already forming within you. You are not lost. You are not behind. You are exactly in the process you need to be in. Continue listening. Continue reflecting. Continue evolving. The next steps in your life will not be forced, they will flow from the strength and understanding you are building right now. As you continue deeper into this message, something even more powerful begins to unfold within you, not as noise, not as pressure, but as clarity that rises quietly from the inside. There comes a stage in every person's life where growth is no longer about proving something to the world but about understanding yourself at a level you once avoided. That stage is where you are now. You are not here by accident, and you are not listening to these words randomly. There is a maturity forming in your spirit that is asking you to slow down, observe your patterns, and recognize how far you have already come. In the past, you may have reacted quickly, spoken from emotion, or allowed temporary situations to define your confidence, but now you are beginning to see the value of stillness. Stillness is not weakness, it is awareness in action. It is the ability to hold your emotions without letting them control you. It is the strength to choose your response instead of surrendering to impulse. That is evolution. You have experienced moments where you felt misunderstood, where your intentions were pure but others misinterpreted them, and those experiences may have made you question whether being open and genuine was worth it. Yet despite everything, you did not harden completely. You did not become bitter. You may have become cautious, but you remained thoughtful. That says something powerful about your character. You are someone who feels deeply, but you are also someone who thinks deeply, and when those two qualities align, you become unstoppable in ways that are calm rather than loud. The angel's message is not about urgency, it is about awareness. Awareness of your emotional growth, awareness of your changing mindset, awareness of the quiet transformation that has already begun inside you. There are decisions ahead of you that will require a higher level of self-trust than you have ever used before. In the past, you may have relied heavily on outside validation, constantly seeking reassurance before making a move, but now you are entering a season where your intuition is sharpening. You are starting to sense when something feels right or when something feels forced. You are noticing red flags earlier. You are recognizing opportunities more clearly. This sharpened perception is not accidental, it is the result of experience combined with reflection. Reflection is powerful because it converts pain into wisdom. Instead of repeating cycles, you are beginning to break them. Instead of reacting from old wounds, you are responding from new understanding. That shift alone changes your future. You may also feel that certain things in your life are no longer satisfying you the way they once did. Conversations feel different. Goals feel different. Even your definition of success may be changing. That is not confusion, that is expansion. When you grow internally, your external desires adjust to match your new level of awareness. What once excited you may now feel small. What once scared you may now feel achievable. This is the sign of a mind that is stretching beyond its previous limits. Growth can feel uncomfortable because it forces you to leave behind familiar versions of yourself, but staying the same would feel even more uncomfortable now. You are not meant to remain who you were 5 years ago, or even 1 year ago. You are evolving. There is also a lesson here about patience. Not the kind of patience that waits passively, but the kind that prepares actively. You are learning that timing matters. You are learning that rushing decisions often leads to regret, while thoughtful action leads to stability. You are learning to observe before speaking, to analyze before committing, to breathe before reacting. These small habits are building discipline within you, and discipline creates confidence. Confidence is not loud declarations, it is quiet certainty. It is knowing that even if things do not go exactly as planned, you will handle them with maturity and clarity. That is strength. As you listen further, you may realize that some of your fears are no longer as powerful as they once were. You used to fear rejection, but now you understand that rejection is often redirection. You used to fear failure, but now you see failure as feedback. You used to fear being alone, but now you are discovering the power of solitude. Solitude has taught you self-reliance. It has taught you self-respect. It has taught you that your worth is not determined by constant attention from others. This realization changes how you show up in relationships. You are no longer desperate for approval, you are selective about alignment. You are no longer chasing attention, you are cultivating connection. That difference protects your peace. There is also an invitation here to look at your habits. What do you do daily that either strengthens your future or weakens it? Growth is not built in dramatic moments, it is built in consistent routines. The way you manage your time, the way you speak to yourself internally, the way you handle stress, all of these shape your long-term reality. Listening carefully means becoming conscious of these patterns. When you adjust even one small habit, you shift your trajectory. When you speak to yourself with encouragement instead of criticism, you increase resilience. When you choose focus over distraction, you increase progress. These are subtle but powerful changes. You may not see immediate results from this internal shift, but internal shifts always produce external outcomes eventually. The seed does not become a tree overnight, but it begins growing the moment it is planted. Right now, you are planting mental and emotional seeds that will define your next chapter. Seeds of patience, seeds of clarity, seeds of self-trust. When challenges appear, and they will because life always brings challenges, you will not respond the same way you once did. You will pause. You will analyze. You will choose wisely. That is growth in motion. There is also something important about forgiveness in this phase. Not forgiveness for others necessarily, but forgiveness for yourself. You are not the same person who made those past decisions. You did the best you could with the awareness you had at the time. Holding on to guilt only delays your progress. Releasing guilt frees energy. That energy can then be redirected toward improvement instead of self-punishment. Growth requires self-compassion. Without it, you become your own obstacle. With it, you become your own support system. The most powerful part of this message is the realization that you are no longer operating from survival mode, you are transitioning into intentional living. Survival mode reacts to threats. Intentional living creates direction. Survival mode seeks immediate relief. Intentional living seeks long-term stability. You are moving toward long-term stability now. That means thinking ahead. That means protecting your peace. That means setting boundaries without guilt. That means choosing environments that elevate rather than drain you. Continue listening. Continue reflecting. Continue strengthening your inner discipline. The more you honor this pause, the more aligned your future becomes. You are not behind. You are not late. You are in the middle of becoming someone wiser, stronger, and more grounded than you have ever been. This transformation is not dramatic, but it is real. And when the next opportunity, relationship, or challenge appears, you will meet it not with panic, but with presence. That presence will be your greatest advantage. As you reach this stage of the message, something deeper begins to settle within you, something steady and grounded that does not depend on outside noise or external approval. You are starting to recognize that the greatest shifts in your life are not always loud or dramatic. They are often quiet decisions made in moments of clarity. The person you are becoming is more thoughtful, more observant, and far less reactive than before. You are learning that true strength is not about controlling everything around you but about mastering what happens within you. This realization alone changes the way you move through the world. Instead of rushing into conversations, you listen more. Instead of reacting instantly to situations, you reflect first. Instead of allowing every opinion to influence you, you evaluate what truly aligns with your values. This is maturity forming in real time. There is also a growing awareness inside you about your direction. You may not have every detail of your future mapped out, but you are no longer drifting without intention. You are becoming deliberate with your choices. You are starting to ask yourself deeper questions. Does this align with who I want to become? Does this environment support my growth? Does this decision bring long-term peace or short-term comfort? These questions are powerful because they shift you from impulsive living to intentional living. Intentional living requires courage because it means saying no to things that once felt familiar. It means stepping away from patterns that no longer serve you. It means being honest with yourself about what needs to change. That honesty is not easy, but it is transformative. You may also notice that your tolerance for chaos has decreased. Situations that once felt normal now feel draining. Conversations that once entertained you now feel empty. This is not arrogance, it is alignment. As you grow internally, your external preferences adjust accordingly. You begin to value peace over excitement, stability over drama, depth over surface-level interaction. This shift is subtle but powerful. It protects your energy. It preserves your focus. It ensures that you are investing your time in things that truly matter rather than scattering it across distractions. Focus is becoming one of your greatest assets, and with focus comes progress. Another important layer of this phase is self-trust. For a long time, you may have second-guessed your instincts. You may have doubted your perceptions. You may have relied heavily on others to confirm what you already felt inside. But now something is different. You are beginning to trust your inner voice more. When something feels wrong, you acknowledge it. When something feels right, you move toward it without excessive hesitation. This growing trust does not make you reckless, it makes you decisive. Decisiveness shortens the distance between intention and action. It reduces overthinking. It increases confidence. And confidence built on self-awareness is sustainable. There is also growth happening in how you handle disappointment. You no longer collapse under setbacks the way you once did. You analyze them. You learn from them. You adjust. This adaptability is a sign of resilience. Resilience does not mean you do not feel pain, it means you do not let pain define your direction. Every setback has strengthened your perspective. Every delay has sharpened your patience. Every challenge has expanded your emotional capacity. You are not the same person who struggled through those earlier seasons. You are stronger, calmer, and far more capable than you realize. In this stage, discipline is becoming your silent companion. You are recognizing that consistency matters more than motivation. Motivation fluctuates, but discipline builds results. Whether it is in your personal goals, your relationships, or your mindset, you are understanding that small daily improvements create significant long-term outcomes. You are no longer waiting for the perfect mood to take action. You are acting because you value your future more than temporary comfort. That shift is powerful. It means you are building a life intentionally rather than reacting to circumstances randomly. Forgiveness continues to play a role in your evolution. Not just forgiving others, but forgiving yourself for delays, mistakes, and misunderstandings. Self-forgiveness frees you from emotional weight that slows progress. When you release regret, you regain energy. When you release guilt, you regain focus. That renewed focus allows you to channel your energy into growth instead of self-criticism. Growth thrives in environments of self-compassion. You are learning to speak to yourself with encouragement instead of harshness. That internal dialogue shapes your external outcomes more than you realize. As you move forward, you are also becoming more aware of your boundaries. Boundaries are not walls, they are guidelines that protect your well-being. You are learning to communicate clearly, to decline respectfully, and to prioritize your mental health without apology. This clarity reduces conflict and increases respect, both from others and from yourself. When you honor your own limits, you strengthen your sense of identity. Identity clarity leads to life clarity. When you know who you are, decisions become easier. When you know what you value, distractions lose their power. The most significant realization in this phase is that your growth is self-directed. You are not waiting for permission to improve. You are not waiting for validation to evolve. You are taking responsibility for your progress. Responsibility is empowering because it places control back into your hands. You cannot control every external event, but you can control your response, your effort, and your attitude. That level of control is enough to transform your path. Every day you choose discipline over distraction, clarity over confusion, patience over impulsiveness, you strengthen your foundation. Continue honoring this pause. Continue listening to your inner voice. Continue making choices that reflect the person you are becoming rather than the person you once were. The transformation you are experiencing is steady and authentic. It does not require dramatic announcements or external approval. It requires consistency and self-awareness, both of which you are developing. The more you embrace this growth, the more aligned your future becomes. You are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be in order to evolve into a version of yourself that is calmer, wiser, and more grounded than ever before. And as you continue forward with this awareness, every decision you make will carry more intention, more clarity, and more quiet strength than the last. If this message truly spoke to your heart, don't just scroll away. Take one quiet second and type "I receive this" in the comments. Let that be your personal confirmation that you are choosing growth, clarity, and alignment. And if you want to continue this journey of awareness and inner strength, make sure you subscribe and stay connected, because the next message may be exactly what you need at the right moment.